Hello, I'm Londa Tyndall, and I'm very excited to have Jake LaTurner with me for my interview today. Jake is a Republican. He is currently serving as our Kansas State Treasurer, and he is also running for the U.S. House in the 2nd Congressional District. I'm really glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I heard you grew up in Southeast Kansas. Tell us about that and a little bit about your family.
I did. I'm a 6th-generation Kansan. My family's been in Southeast Kansas specifically for that long. I grew up in Galena. Galena's a small town, really a wonderful place to grow up. I met my wife Suzanne when I went to college at Pitt State. She's from Chanute, and so we have a lot of Southeast Kansas connections. When I worked for Lynn Jenkins, I ran her Southeast Kansas office, and so I traveled the bottom 9 counties or so in the 2nd Congressional District very frequently. And so Southeast Kansas has a special place in my heart and love it a lot. We now live in Topeka.
Okay.
Since I've been state treasurer, we have to be there, and it's been great. And we have 4 young kids, Ava, Joe, Maggie, and Gus.
Okay.
And life is good. But no, I appreciate the question. Southeast Kansas is awesome.
Okay. And I read that you got a degree in political science at Pitt State. And was it while you were in college you were working for Lynn Jenkins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And she had been the state treasurer, so probably got some good tips and knowledge. And I mean, you didn't know at that time that was part of your future, but still pretty cool that worked out.
Yes, she's been great. And I think proved that she has a better mental health than most people in politics, because she went and did it and then she left, and so went back, and she cares about family and friends and normal things. A lot of guys in politics seem to not do that. They some of them kind of lose track of that, but she didn't, and was a great example of how to do it with integrity, I think.
Very good. Okay, so after college, what'd you do next?
So I got elected to the Senate. I worked for Watco, short line railroad company in Pittsburgh, one of the largest short line railroads in the country. I got elected to the Senate in 2012.
Okay.
And got reelected in 2016. And then now I've been treasurer for about 3 years.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer than that now, but yeah, and enjoyed every step of the way. It's been a great experience.
And he's kind of shy about his accomplishments, so I'm going to say just a little bit more about that. In 2012, you were elected to the Senate at age 24. That's really amazing. And then you said you were reelected, so you were in your 2nd term there, when you were then appointed to be the state treasurer when Ron Estes won a congressional seat. Is that right? Yeah,
I always talk about how unlikely it was to happen. There are not very many people that thought in November of 2016 that Donald Trump was going to beat Hillary Clinton, if you look back.
Yep.
Very few. But he did, thank God.
Thank goodness, yep.
And then he picked a very wise decision. He picked Mike Pompeo to be the CIA director at the time.
Yes.
And then Ron Estes got elected to
fill
that role. And then anyway.
So started your path, didn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great experience.
Great. I also wanted to mention, though, that when you were in the Senate, so you got elected there first in 2012, but in 2015 you were the lead sponsor on legislation that allowed Kansas adults to carry firearms without a concealed carry permit. That's open carry, right?
Well, it's a permitless carry.
Permitless carry.
Yep.
Okay.
So you've been able to carry open carry in Kansas since our state's founding. But to conceal carry without a permit was a new thing. So we called it constitutional carry, and I carried it on the floor of the Senate and got it passed, and received an A+ from the NRA for moving legislation.
So I guess we certainly don't even have to ask where you stand on the Second Amendment. Very good.
You do not. You do not. It's a foundational issue.
Yes.
And it's a recurring theme that I really try to put emphasis on, that you can't just sit back and watch things go by. You need to stand up and lead. And so I've tried to do that.
Yeah, I see that. In 2016, you authored a bill to limit property tax increases. Did that one pass also?
Yes.
It did. Limiting property taxes for us. All right. So then you were the treasurer, and 2019, we're up to 2019, you had decided to run for the U.S. Senate, the seat that Pat Roberts was retiring from. But instead, after a few months, you were encouraged to run against Steve Watkins for the 2nd Congressional District seat in the U.S. House. Now, I've been reading about Steve Watkins, and he's been involved in several controversies, including inflating his business resume. He was absent on several important votes. There were allegations of sexual misconduct in Alaska. And this past week, there were actual felony charges of voter fraud brought against him. That's a lot of controversy.
Well, what I've said repeatedly is we need someone in this district that represents our values and someone that can keep this seat in Republican hands. I don't think the current congressman can do either one of those things. I think I can. And so I've been in the race and been running hard, and we're getting a lot of support, and we feel really good about the way things are going with just 18 short days left until the election. And people are voting right now.
Yes,
so.
Yes. Voting is open, people. If you want to go advance vote, you can do it. Just head up to the courthouse. So you just said how important it is for us to retain this seat in Congress. Can you expand on that? Why is it so critical that we hang on to that seat being a Republican seat?
Well, we have to take the Speaker's gavel away from Nancy Pelosi. It is critical. And there's no way that that happens if we can't hang on to a seat like this. This is a seat that Republicans should win. But our current congressman has put us in a very bad position. And because he has been so vulnerable, the Democrats have been working really hard. So the mayor of Topeka, her name is Michelle De La Isla, she is a candidate that has raised a lot of money. She's had fundraisers with Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. Kathleen Sebelius is helping with her campaign a great deal. And she's raised a ton of money. Most all of it from out of state. But it's critical that we put our best foot forward on August 4th. And so that's one of the big themes of this race for us.
Okay, we have to protect that seat. And Jake's the man to do it. And my last question for you, you dove headfirst into public service. I hate to use the word politics even because there's such a negative connotation there, but you dove headfirst into public service at a very young age. What drew you to it, and what message do you have for other people about the need to get involved?
Well, growing up in Galena, my family paid attention to politics. My dad ran for the mayor of my hometown and served in that capacity. I grew up going to city council meetings with him. It was very much expected in our family that you would serve in some way. And it doesn't have to be in politics, right? But be of service. And so this is the way that I thought I could. And it's been a great experience, you know. Getting into it was something that I thought that I wanted to do. But, you know, you mentioned a couple of things: property tax reform, constitutional carry. We got Simon's Law passed. We've got and a ton of individual things for my district. And it's very satisfying to be able to represent people and then actually accomplish something to help people and try to leave the campground better than you found it. And so it's been a great experience, and hope to be able to do that in Washington.
Good. And the doors just keep opening for you, don't they?
Well, we've been really blessed, and continually say that God's will be done, and try to have humility and embrace that.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
doing this interview with me. Appreciate it.